Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedAlliance, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile of Satellarknight. And this is going to be a really cool deck profile, but really quickly I want to give a happy birthday out to my buddy Jason, who originally introduced me into this deck of the Night of the Stars, if you will. But I really appreciate it, Jason, and happy birthday. But let's get into this deck profile, and I'm doing this one for you, Jason. So here we go. So first off, I'm going to play 3 copies of Satellarknight Deneb. Let me put them over here. 3 copies of Satellarknight Deneb. When she is summoned, you can add 1 Satellarknight card from your deck to your hand. So really good. She's your searcher of the deck. Then you play 3 copies of Satellarknight Altair, or Stellarknight Altair. With Altair, when he is summoned, you can special summon a Satellarknight monster from your graveyard, which is really, really cool. I think it's in defense position. Yes, it is in defense position. But that's really, you're going to use him to make your plays of overlaying and stuff like that with your rank 4s. Then we play 3 copies of Satellarknight, or Stellarknight, Anukalai. I think I said that right, Anukalai. When he's normal summoned, you can, or not normal summoned, when he's summoned, period. That's the really cool thing about all these Satellarknights, guys, is when they're summoned, they trigger. So if they're Call of the Haunted, or if they are brought back by other means like Altair bringing back either one of these, their effects do go off once per turn. So, Anukalai, when he is summoned, you can Foolish Burial another Satellarknight to the graveyard, which is really nice because if you set it up right and you have like a Altair in hand and you start out with a Anukalai on your first turn, you can send Deneb to grave. Next turn, normal summon Altair, bring Deneb back, search, and then go off from there. Then you play only 2 copies of Stellarknight Vega. Vega's really, really good, don't get me wrong, but you really only need 2 because it lets you special summon a Satellarknight monster from your hand. So it's going to set you up for a rank 4 play, but I only like to play 2. Then I play one of the little kid Satellarknights. I don't even know how to say it. Alshami. Alsham. I think that's how you say it. Alsham. And when it's special summon, you inflict 1,000 points of damage to your opponent. And you can only use the effect once per turn, which is nice because it's a quick burn. If you've got your opponent down low and you get him out, you can really quickly burn your opponent for 1,000 points every time you activate a Call of the Haunted or Oasis of Dragon Souls or something like that. Or even, I believe Altair doesn't negate the effect. No, he doesn't not. I remember Jason doing that so many times to me, doing this combo. Then I play 2 copies of Honest because a hand trap never hurts. And a lot of these Satellarknights don't get very big. They only get to like 18, and in the extra deck, the biggest they get is 26, besides Diamond, which Diamond gets to 27. So they don't get really, really big. So I play Honest in here to kind of stop my opponent from getting through. Then I play 2 copies of Max C because it scares my opponent from special summoning. I can discard a Max C really quick, draw a couple of cards that they know is going to be bad, like for instance Stellar Alpha Nova or Oasis of Dragon Souls or even Fiendish Chain. Because with Trevere in the extra deck, I can spin those back to my hand and use them over and over and over again. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells and traps. Not very big monster count at all. Satellarknights always had played very small amounts of monsters. So let's get into the spells. So first off, we're going to play 1 Reinforcements of the Army, because Reinforcements of the Army lets you search anything in the main deck except for Honest or Max C. So any of the Satellarknights can be added off of Reinforcements of the Army. 1 copy of Raigeki, because blowing up boards is really, really nice. 1 copy of Soul Charge, because like I said before, all of them trigger with being special summoned. So if you play Soul Charge and you bring back, let's say, Deneb, Anukalai, and Altair, then all of them go off at once, which is really nice. Then I play 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. I did consider playing Twin Twister in this place, but I took them out and put in Mystical Space Typhoon because of the new card, Satellarknight Genesis. You don't need the destruction. I mean, these already pretty much substitute as your Twin Twisters, because with this, you can destroy up to the amount of Satellarknight monsters you control. So I could normal summon out a Vega special summon a Altair, Altair effect, bring back to Neb, activate Genesis, destroy 3 back row, and I just did more with this one card without having to discard a card. So what I did was I took out the 2 Twin Twisters and added in the 2 Genesis, and then I took some other cards out and added in Typhoon. But if you don't want to play Typhoon, by all means, play this. Play Instant Fusion and add a Norden into the extra deck. But I play this lineup because I hate back row. I genuinely hate back row. I want to control my opponent to the max. Then I play 3 copies of Pot of Duality because of consistency, and sometimes you just normal summon Deneb, and sometimes you just normal summon out a Nuclei. I think that's how you say it. You guys know who I'm talking about. But sometimes you just normal summon them out and you want some more consistency. I mean, the deck is consistent, but you want more consistency to add your traps and stuff like that and grab the options of one of the 3. And I hate Pot of Desire, so I'm not going to play it. Hate it. It is a neg 9, but we're not going to get into that. That's a whole nother story. Then I play 1 copy of Bottomless Trap Hole for the traps. Bottomless Trap Hole is super good because something to keep in mind about it, though, and I think everybody knows this by now, is it destroys a monster and then it banishes it. So you have to be careful about that. 1 copy of Torrential Tribute to kind of board wipe. 1 Solemn Warning to stop my opponent. I don't play Solemn Strikes in here because A, I don't have them and I didn't want to proxy them, and B, you don't need them. You just don't need them with Stellar Nova Alpha. It's Nova Alpha, excuse me. I kept calling it Alpha Nova. With Stellar Nova Alpha, you just don't need it because it says right here, when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, send 1 face-up Tellarknight monster you control to the graveyard. Negate the activation if you do destroy that card. Then draw 1 card. So this is essentially a Solemn Warning, except it doesn't negate the summon. But I have all this to negate the summon. So what do I care? Because the majority of the time, they're not going to special summon a normal monster against you in any good deck besides Metal Foes. And I'm not worried about that all that much because I have plenty of stuff to deal with it over here. And Trevor's just going to spin it all back to hand. Then I played 2 copies of Fiendish Chain because I really hate monster effects. Like over here in the spells, that's where I hit my spells and traps. Over here is where I hit monsters. Then for my revival traps, I'm playing 3 copies of Call of the Haunted and 3 copies of Oasis of Dragon Souls. The only real difference in these is Oasis of Dragon Souls brings them back as a worm in defense position, and Call of the Haunted brings them back in attack position. That's the only real difference in them. So that's it for the main deck. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty straightforward. It's a lot of staple stuff that you put in Tellarknights. If you have a bunch of staple stuff sitting around and you want to play a fun deck, play Tellarknights. I mean, they're really easy to play. And that's probably why you're here watching this video. For the extra deck, but let's get into the extra deck, guys. So for the extra deck, I'm playing 3 copies. I know a lot of people sometimes play 2, but I am testing 3 copies of the new Dark Tellarknight. Basically what it is if you control 2 level 4 Tellarknights, you can overlay into this, and all of them are level 4. Then all face-up monsters become dark. You can detach a card from this card and discard 1 card, special summon from your extra deck 1 light Tellarknight monster. By using this card you control as materials. So essentially you can go into Deltaros, which is this guy. Oh, and the final effect you just need to ignore because you don't play 7 different Tellarknight names. You can go into Deltaros, which Deltaros is really nice to go into with only 2 materials, which is really good actually. And Deltaros' effect is when this card is XYZ summon, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects. When you normal or special summon monsters, so basically, they can't Torrential Tribute you anymore, they can't Bottomless you anymore, and stuff like that. And then once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card and destroy 1 card on the field, which is kind of neat. And then his final effect is if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Tellarknight monster from your hand or deck, which is kind of nice because he replaces himself too. Then the star of the deck, I don't use him that often, that's why you can tell. That's why I use this one a lot. And that is Stellar Knight Trever. Trevere is a wicked awesome card. It takes 3 materials. Both of these take 3 materials on them with Deltaros and Trevere. But that's why this new Dark Tellarknight is so cool. A, because it's got awesome art. And B, because it lets you go into Trevere or Deltaros with 1 card. With 2 cards instead of 3. Um, during the turn this card's XYZ summon, you cannot special summon monsters except for Tellarknight monsters. If this card is XYZ summoned, return all other cards on the field to the hand. Once per turn, you can detach 1 XYZ material from this card, send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. If this card with XYZ materials is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Tellarknight monster in the graveyard and special summon it. So what I'm getting from this, and I know I play this a lot, but it's just important to read that whole effect, is he Giant Trunades the field. After he Giant Trunades the field of everything, which lets you recycle all of your continuous traps if you play them quickly before you bring him out and get your searches off to Neb and stuff like that. He Giant Trunades them. He sends a card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, and if he dies, you can special summon Tellarknight from your graveyard, which can roll your plays over again with Altair. Then I play 1 copy of Diamond, which is a super controlling card. 1 copy of Dark Rebellion, just for a big beat stick. 1 copy of Honor Arc, because he's still alright. He's still a pretty viable card in rank 4 decks. He's still a staple, in my opinion. 1 copy of Castel, because spinning stuff is fun. 1 copy of number 106 Giant Hand, because you just need it. And then finally, the Utopia Lightning Engine. The Utopia Lightning Engine, I think, is pretty staple in any rank 4 deck at this point, which consists of a Utopia Ray, which is just Utopia, then you overlay into Utopia Ray, then you overlay into Utopia Lightning. I had some other people not understand how to do that in some of my videos and that comment that, but I'm just telling you guys. And what he does is you can detach 2 materials from him, and then he becomes 5,000 for that battle, which is neat, really neat. But the really cool thing is if you play Ray, you can put 4 materials on him because he takes 2, that makes 3, 4, and then that's on top of him, which makes 2 attacks of 5,000, which is really nice. But that's it, guys. That's it for the deck. I really hope you've enjoyed this deck profile. I really enjoyed taking it, and again, happy birthday to Jason. I hope you enjoyed this, bro, and I hope you have a really good one. But anyways, guys, this is Dark Armed Duelist. Don't forget to join DarkArmedAlliance down in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Anyways, guys, this is Dark Armed Duelist, and I'm out. See you around, guys.